welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Tuesday. I'm joined as ever by the brilliant LB, but today also Kwess and Cal the Gooner joining me on the show today. Kwess is a Chelsea fan, in case people don't know. Cal is an Arsenal fan. We all know who LB supports. And I, of course, Man United. Well, some believe Arsenal. Some believe Liverpool at the moment after all the defending I've done of their players today online. But hit the like button, please. Get yourselves subscribing. Loads to talk about. Eze to Tottenham is agreed. We're talking Semenyo and Arsenal. We're talking Agoumé and Manchester United. We're looking at Isak, Rodrygo, Guehi as well. We're also going to take a look back at the weekend's games with some excellent clips to play you as well. But before we jump into any of the stories, gentlemen, how are we all?
Pretty good,
pretty
good.
Yeah, man. All good, man.
Yeah, good, man. I felt better before the news today, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen LB since last Tuesday. Really good start to the Premier League season for yourselves.
I know. Probably our best performance in about a year, that, man. I can't lie. But then everyone just keeps on going, it's only Wolves. Well, yeah, I mean, last year was a tough year for me, man. So I lost all my hair, innit? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But hopefully this year's better.
Yeah, LB looked like that Man United fan who's growing his hair until he's won 5 games a year ago. And then it's got...
It's actually true, man.
I feel sorry for that dude. It's peak. Because I was looking at some stats. In the last 2 years alone, only like 2 teams have won 5 games on the bounce or more in that whole period. Like, that man is going to end up breaking his neck because that hair of his is thick. It's ridiculous. I've never seen hair like that on a human. It's like a mane. He looks like a lion. Simba settings. But yeah, I couldn't grow my hair that long. It just doesn't grow like that anymore. So I'm done. But loads to talk about. We're going to start though with the big breaking news, the big Jacobs cracker that's come out. That Tottenham have reached an agreement with Crystal Palace. He said the fee is agreed, with Palace now accelerating efforts to find a replacement. So essentially, the deal is done. It's just not going to be. Palace are just going to sanction it officially once once they find a replacement. But Cal, I'm going to come to you first because you're an Arsenal fan, and I know you. In fact, before we do that, no, we're going to play. This is Igal. This is what I mean by the kiss of death and football gods. Take a little listen to this.
Let's say, what are your thoughts though about Eze and the whole Tottenham situation? Because it seems like he's agreed to join Tottenham.
I'm waiting. I'm sitting back. I don't think he's a Tottenham player by the end of the winter.
You think he goes to Tottenham, or you think he comes to Arsenal?
I think Tottenham pay for his hotel to come to the Emirates.
Oh, no.
He's crazy, He's crazy.
When was this taken?
Only a couple of weeks ago. Big up to Staffy TV for that. I'm gonna make sure you subscribe to my boy. But yeah, as soon as I saw that clip, I was like, he's going to become a Palace player now. Like that. That is the commentator's kiss of death level. They're going to pay for his hotel to come for the Emirates.
I don't know how you can be so confident that Arsenal's going to do any business, man. Like, how could you be that confident that Arsenal's going to do business?
I'm surprised Arsenal have let him go there, man. I've been really.
I'm like head loss to me right now, to be honest.
Scary hours, man.
I can't believe. Well, the thing is, I kind of like resign myself to the fact that they're not going to sign anyone because Eze was the guy for me. He was an easy deal to get done. He wanted us. I mean, reports came out that he wanted to come to the club. Arteta wanted him to come to the club. The players were fully endorsing him. We have Saka dropping hints, posting pictures with Eze in it, and all this stuff. Everyone wanted him, but the board decided that we were not getting anyone without sales, no matter what. Really, and we start hearing the PR about Ethan Nwaneri, he resigned, so we don't get Eze, which is absolute nonsense. And now we're getting reports that Trossard's staying as well. So, yeah. So, well, they don't know if he's staying. They offered him another. They're kind of trying to make him sign another contract. He hasn't signed yet, so I think they're trying to keep him.
That's just.
But yeah, it's yeah. This is really, really, really bad. And I'm not a super negative guy. Like, I'm not a super negative fan, but this is complete dog shit.
How much was it as well? How much was the actual fee?
It looks like it's going to be 55 million plus add-ons.
No
So
way.
is that basically what they paid for Nani Madueke then?
Yeah. You see how it works.
Oh,
This
I
is-
think it's a multiverse thing, though. You know, if Maddison don't get injured, I don't think he goes. But I feel like Maddison got injured, yeah, and Spurs were like, "Yo,
that has nothing to
not
do
looking."
with it. That has
You
nothing to
don't
do with
think
it.
so?
No, we could have gotten him if we wanted him.
But then what happened? Because you can't tell me Spurs have more pull
Nah,
in the
they don't-
transfer window than Arsenal. This is
They don't want him. Like, the board don't want him. They don't want to get him because they'd never put a bid in. He was waiting for us, and they could have signed him if they wanted to. And we have the money. We're just not going to get him.
So have you got
Like,
something
Arsenal's-
else lined up then or something? Because it just seems to me like it's not adding up. It's not
I
adding
think
up.
that-
Like, it's
I
not
don't
adding up that you could get Eze for 55 million, right? We would massively improve Arsenal. And it seems like Arsenal just let him walk to Spurs without any challenge at all. When Eze would come into Arsenal and massively help, he could play off the left, he can play in the middle and take some responsibility off Odegaard. And it's not even that expensive. Something's not adding up here for me. It tells me that either Arsenal are done and they think they've got enough, which they've not. We'll come on to that in a bit, and they won't win anything again. Or they're lining up another deal, someone else that maybe is not broken in the press yet, because it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
They're finished. They're done.
Well, then you're not winning
No
anything.
way.
Because
Nah,
that's what ain't good enough, man. It makes that for me is horrific, man. That's bad. It's bad. That is bad, man. You can't be letting Eze walk to Spurs, bro. What's going on here, man?
Like, before, to be honest, before last year, I would have told you, I think they're up to something. But after that January transfer window where we didn't sign anyone, this is definitely on the cards for Arsenal. This is not something. This is not out of the realm of possibility. And I'm not seeing any super strong links. So yeah, I think we're done with the window. Unless we make a sale. Like, if we sell, let's say we sell Fabio Vieira and Trossard, I think someone comes in. But until people start leaving the club, because we haven't sold anyone, we're not getting anyone until someone leaves. It's not happening.
Yeah, I think it's all. I think it's a massive mistake. I obviously want to speak on Tottenham. I think they have signed a phenomenal player. I think they've got a game changer. We saw what he did in the semi-final of the FA Cup, the final of the FA Cup. In respect to Tottenham, they are a better. I know Palace have had a very good year. I know they've won some trophies. So did Tottenham, to be fair. They're a bigger team. They're a better team. I think they have a better squad overall. They were just really mismanaged last year. But Eze is going to another team that isn't the best in the league, and I just think he's going to thrive there. I think this is phenomenal business. I actually have come to the conclusion as well, Cal. I agree with you. I don't think Maddison getting injured had anything to do with it, because they were trying to sign Gibbs White before Maddison got injured. I think this was a case of Spurs pulled away when Arsenal showed interest. I think what Ornstein has said holds a lot of water, that the club were looking at him when they weren't sure whether Waneri was going to sign a new deal. Waneri has signed a new deal, and I think they've called their interest. Now, that's a massive gamble, because that suggests what that means. One, Waneri's got to go up a level this year, because he's going to have to help you. And I don't want to put pressure on the young man, but you're essentially saying, you're briefing the media, we didn't go for Eze because we've got Waneri. That means, one, he's got to play more than he featured last year. He's got to be able to challenge Odegaard for his spot if he isn't playing well. And two, he's got to deliver, because I think we all know that Eze is one of those deals that feels like almost a certainty. I think as well, as much as you all hate Man United in different ways, just watching Acuna in his first game, I think most football fans have gone, yeah, he is going to be good at Man United. There are certain players you sign. When Haaland went to City, only Rory Jennings was the only human being that thought he was going to flop. Everyone else looks at him and went, that player is going to bang. I think Eze is that type of player where when you look at the Arsenal and Spurs, you just go, he is going to make them better. So this is a massive gamble from Arsenal. It's an amazing coup for Tottenham. And I don't think it matters that he wanted Arsenal first. You ended up with him. These are professionals at the end of the day. I know we often do examples of, someone dated this girl first, someone slept with her first, someone was engaged to her first. This is a professional industry. This is professional. It's a bit like me. It's a bit like me saying to LB, I don't really want to terrace. Why? Because you were with City Extra first. You didn't reach out to me first. Like what other shit that? Imagine how weird that would be on a professional. Imagine you go for a job, turn up at HSBC Bank. I'd love to take your position as manager. Can't have you. Why? You worked at Lloyd's first. It just doesn't work in the professional world. So brilliant business for Tottenham, no doubt. But Arsenal, I mean, if you've got nothing left, I mean, you stand on what you're saying there, Obi. They've got nothing else left to do now, Arsenal. No more business. How short do you think they are for this season? Where do you think that's going to leave them, make Arsenal end up being?
I think they'll finish about third, man. I don't think like they're some dead team, Arsenal. They're not. They're a good team. But I just don't think that they've got enough. But they've got enough firepower, man. I really don't. I think they've not got enough firepower. I mean, look at, Liverpool against Bournemouth, match day 1. Look at the firepower that they had, man. And then, obviously, City have increased it with the signings that they've made. I think that's where they lack. I think they lack in the forward lines. I still look at that team and think they're heavily reliant on Bukayo Saka. Heavily reliant for him to get the output. And if he doesn't get the output, who's going to get the output? You know what I mean? Are you going to rely on Gyökeres in his first season to do that? Maybe they are, but obviously, it might take him a year to settle. So that's why I think they need to really. I'm watching Martinelli, man. Like 2025, and I'm watching Martinelli on left wing for Arsenal. They are too good for Martinelli. They've left Martinelli behind. Martinelli a couple of years ago, was decent for him, but Arsenal have bypassed Martinelli's level and his ability, and he's not stayed with that with Arsenal. Bukayo Saka has stayed with Arsenal's increases. Arsenal got better and better and now fighting for titles. Bukayo Saka's come up with them. Martinelli's got left behind, and I'm still watching him. I'm still watching Trossard apparently staying. So now I still think Champions League would be the best bet just because of how solid they are defensively, if I'm being honest with you. But Premier League, I'd be stunned if they won it. Stunned. I just don't think they've done enough, man.
In order for Arsenal to win the league, if we don't sign anyone else, Gyökeres and Zubimendi would have to be extremely transformative. Like they would have to explode and just win us games, because we're basically playing with 10 men every game on that left. So Gyökeres has to score and Saka has to score. Essentially, we know Odegaard ain't scoring because he doesn't get GA. He might get an assist, but he's not gonna. He doesn't shoot. Like he will stand in front of the goal and pass it to the left. So, it's pretty dark. I mean, I'm not saying that there's no chance if we don't sign anyone, but it's considerably lower if we don't do any more business. So, I do think we finished third. I agree. I think we finished third. I do think we still have enough to win maybe one of the cups, because I think at this point Arteta's going to go hard for one of the cups because that's something on his back. But and I think that we might have a shot at the Champions League. But in terms of the league, where you have to be consistent, I don't think we have enough to win it. Not 0% chance, but
It's not like we spent loads either. Just quickly, it's not like Arsenal spent loads compared to like City and Liverpool. Like obviously, City spent no team really spent a lot last year. City spent 20. I think Liverpool spent 7 and Arsenal spent 7, which is not a lot. City obviously then didn't do investment in January, and I don't think Arsenal did. I don't think Liverpool did. And then obviously Liverpool spending loads now. City spent 115 in this one. Arsenal only spent 180 or something. So how come it seems like Arsenal, given the fact, you know what I mean, they got a massive stadium, they got loads of sponsorship deals, they're in the Champions League. Why is it that Arsenal apparently can't spend as much as Liverpool and City? What's all that about?
Well, Ornstein has said, according to people in the comments, Ornstein has said that it's because of FFP. Kieran Maguire and the financial experts have said they've got around 200 million more they could spend before they would get close to breaching to a point on the 3-year rolling average where they'd be in trouble. So that remains to be seen. But they didn't go massive last year either. So my view of it, there's a stat that I've got somewhere, if I can find it, but they're not spending. This is why it doesn't add up. And I know that some Arsenal fans go, no. And listen, I trust a lot of things that Ornstein says, but I'm consistent with this when it comes to the financial side of things, I listen to the financial experts more than I do the journalists. We look at this graphic here. Arsenal are spending 50. They're one of the lowest in the Premier League. Only 53% of their revenue is being spent on player salary. You compare that to United's and City's in the mid to high 50s. I mean, Villa, we'll get into that later, 96%. Chelsea, 72%. Newcastle, 68% of their revenue alone being spent on player wages. So it was 80 million last year, around 180 this year. 50% of their money gets spent on wages. It's another year of Champions League. They release more kits. They release more merchandise than any other club I've ever known in my life. I just don't believe they couldn't spend. I don't believe another £50 million being spent. It would break the bank. I'm not having not studied it, but knowing football finance fairly well, I just don't believe spending another £50 million would breach them too much. I really, especially with the 2 or 3 signings that look like they're going to happen between now and the end of the window. I agree with you, LB, from what you said at the start. The only way this makes sense is if they've got an ace up their sleeve that none of us know about, none of us expect. And there was that link yesterday from Indy or the other day to Semenyo, although he's done a new deal. There's a report that actually it's only like a year extension with a pay increase. And there's talk that maybe Arsenal will go in with a bid. I doubt that will happen, but it would have to be something of that ilk where you suddenly go, fuck, I didn't see Arsenal doing that. And he's a really good winger. He can score goals. He's powerful. Because other than that, I do agree. The only way they win, not the only way, one of the ways they're going to have, what they're going to need to happen now is Gyökeres is going to have to repeat his goal scoring outputs at Sporting, because that changes everything. If you get a player that can score 30, 40 goals, that's when it's like, you don't need Eze, right? Because you've got someone that's scoring at that level. That's what he's going to have to do now. And, I wanted Arsenal or Chelsea to win the league this year because I know my club can't over my 2 biggest rivals. But I just don't think they've done enough. And to let this man go to North London as well, I think that's poor. What are you saying about all this, Kwess?
It's just mad. Like, I don't understand. Like, yesterday we were talking football in fiction, right? And it was Sesko deal was not a bad deal for Man United and Gyökeres wasn't a bad deal for Arsenal. And I think I was the only one that said, actually, I think it should have been the other way around. Because I thought, from my perspective, bringing in a younger striker for this project with these players, they can help bed him in. With Gyökeres, there's a lot of pressure. It didn't make sense to me. For me, I just don't get if you think holding on to Nwaneri is better than signing a 27-year-old Eze in his prime, I can't understand what you're going for now. So I'm like, it makes sense to take the pressure off, like LB said, take the pressure off Odegaard, take the pressure off Havertz, take the pressure off Gyökeres by bringing in another player that is highly creative and can score goals. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to do that. So now it's just like, it's almost got me thinking, like, back in the day, a lot of them were saying like the club up there is a bit rotten. Like then they're basically trying to keep money in their pocket, but spend enough just to make it look like we're serious. Now I'm thinking, there's something dark going on, because you definitely, all right, if you're not going to get the player, you definitely don't just idly sit by and just let him go to Spurs. I cannot fathom that. Like, that is bonkers to me. Yeah. Only then to try and prop up your fan base to say, well, we got Max Dowman, we got Nwaneri, we'll be all right. And Nwaneri last year, people were saying, Arteta's not even giving him game time. So I'm like, why would he then, as whatever age he is, 16, 17, 18, why would he then turn up this year and go and do numbers that help? It's just mad, man. It's just mad. And unlike other people, I don't want Arsenal to fail like that. Like, I want them to be up there pushing, because more teams pushing means it gives us more time to get there. Do you get it? But this is nuts, man. It's nuts.
You guys are thinking like football is like, you guys are thinking about, what Arsenal needs to do to win next season. But like upstairs, that's not the number one priority. I think like Arsenal, they want a self-sustaining model. They don't want to the owners don't want to invest into the club, and they evaluate players based on their age and their potential. That's why they wanted to go for Sesko rather than Gyökeres. That's why he was the number one target, and that's why they're saying Nwaneri is kind of like here, so they're not going to get Eze. So they want to collect these young valuable players, and they're not really interested in signing players in their prime, like an Eze, especially because we signed Gyökeres. Because Gyökeres is an older player, like us signing Gyökeres and Eze doesn't meet the evaluations of the club in terms of what they value. So in their minds, they've re-signed Waneri. There's players that could play that 10 position in their heads. They're probably thinking Havertz could play that position as well if he needs to. And they're just not willing to spend that much on a 27-year-old because that's just how they feel. Because you're thinking,
No, I hear you, but this is where Arsenal fans have got to do a bit of digging, right? Because I'm just doing some as you're speaking now. Their last financial records that came out was in February 2025, and that was for the 23-24 season and financial year. And there was a loss of around 17 million. The issue that you have when you just read losses, that could impact FFP. Not quite. Every penny spent on the women's team, every penny spent on youth, every penny spent on infrastructure, to name just 3 things, is all deductible. So it isn't. So when Man United have made a loss, United lost 60 million. How comes they've not been sanctioned? Well, 50 million pounds of that was revamping Carrington, which is deductible from PSR. If a club spends 50 million pound improving its women's team, players, salary, stadia, training facilities, and you make 100 million loss, the PSR and FFP element, you remove that. So losing 17 million pounds overall is not particularly bad, considering the year before, I think, was 52 million. Equally, your turnover, it says here, was, I need to make sure I read this. It says your turnover was record levels of revenue, 616 million. That was in those trading accounts. What has now been estimated for the last year's turnover is 718 million pound the following year, plus you only spent 80 million compared to well over 200 million in that previous year. According to all the statistics, your wage bill hasn't gone up significantly in that time, but your revenues have. So I just don't see, and I'm not saying you've got 400, 500, 600 million to spend. The maths just are not mapping for me.
They can push it a little bit, can't they?
Yeah, but exactly.
No one's saying go out and spend another 200 million, but you're saying you can't do 50 million on Eze. Are you that close? So you're saying that your club, wants to run a sustainable model, but you're saying that your club at the same time is going to push that close that they're within 50 million of breaching and getting a potential points deduction. Just doesn't make sense. I just think
this makes a lot of sense. I mean, we were 4 points away from the top with major injuries in making the semifinals with the transfer window still open in January, and they would not spend a penny on a striker to try and help us win the Champions League. They're not going to spend to get us they're just not. If a market opportunity pops up, I can see us spending in this window again. But if nothing pops up, if we don't make any sales, they're just gonna sit back and just run it again, because they're exactly where they want to be right now.
So what happens though with Arsenal fans then? Because at some point, surely Arsenal fans have got to say, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I mean, some are.
They've said it before, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
they've said it before, man. And
do you reckon this is the year? I reckon this is the year that Arsenal fans start to turn, man. I'll be real with you.
Oh, it's already turned. I mean, we won against United and most fans are angry. So, I was kind of defending, because I can actually compartmentalize, things. So I can be angry with the business that we're doing, but also be happy with with just winning a game of football. But right now, you watch all the Arsenal content creators, you watch going online or anything, everyone's mad about the performance, and Arsenal fans are angrier than Manchester United fans right now.
I'll be honest with you. Arsenal fans after their performance the other day annoyed me. Standards FC annoyed me anyway. I'm not gonna lie, they annoyed me. It got under my skin, and it's the first time I brought this up, but I've got to. For 5 years, actually, I'm exaggerating. For that 2.5 year period where you were playing really good football, but you wouldn't win some of the big games. For that period where you weren't winning the trophies, all I've been told is winning is all that matters. Yet Arsenal win in a way which wasn't great, but they won. And then all I hear is moaning about performances. But then I'm like, but I thought winning is all that matters, not performances. Because if the performance matters, not just the win, then winning isn't everything, is it? And that's where I'm getting really confused with social content creators, fans. All clubs do this, by the way. Man United fans, the ones who for years moaned that we didn't want individual brilliance, we wanted a set system, and we didn't care. I remember listening, and I'm talking across all platforms. I remember hearing regularly. And if you guys say you didn't hear this, I think you guys are telling porcupines. I remember hearing, I can take not winning as long as I see a style of football, as long as there's repetition, as long as I see what we're trying to do, as long as we have a manager that sticks to what he believes in. Those same fans now are like, no, I just want to win. We're a weird bunch of people, football fans. The chopping and the changing and the flip-flopping without addressing that you've changed your mind is crazy. And I saw that from so many gooners at the weekend that all I've seen for 4 or 5 years is say winning is all that matters. I don't care how we do it. I just want to win. Arsenal win a game for not being very good, and suddenly the performance is a problem because it isn't sustainable. But again, the Arsenal fans that were saying, I know we didn't win this game today, but I love how we're playing because it's consistent and that might yield results in the long term. No, it doesn't matter. You just got to win. I find the messaging very confusing. Very confusing indeed.
It's just people are angry because we haven't won anything. This is what happens. People are angry and they need to, in their minds, justify why they're mad. So they're just going to change their minds over and over and over again. There's not going to be any sort of consistency in this bipolar fan base until we start winning. So that's just the way it is.
Do you know what I think it is? Yeah, and listen, let's just come to a therapy session, Arsenal fans, quick. Yeah, I think it's
from a Chelsea fan. Yeah, this is gonna be
because
this is gonna be great.
Because I think we understand where we are. Yeah, but what I think I'm seeing in Arsenal fans is it's an identity crisis. You've seen City do up, crash the league, dominate, bombard. Nobody can get a look in. You've seen Liverpool get a few titles in that, and you're thinking, gosh, they look superior as well. So all of a sudden, it's like, well, now the footballing standard must be City and Liverpool. But you see, everybody's got a part to play in life. That's why I'm not hurting as a Chelsea fan, yeah? Because I go, you know what? Even if we suffer this year, we're going to go and win 2 trophies next year or a trophy the year after. I understand right now we're not dominant. So I'm okay with that. This is Liverpool and City's time because we ain't got the best manager in the world. So it is what it is. I think Arsenal are struggling because they want to be the bad B, but they know they're the one in the group that the one talks to get to the other one. Do you get it? So they're struggling right now because it's like we want to be better. We think we can be better. When we're better, it's not good enough because we still don't look like that one. And we want to look like that one. So even when they beat United, which they should just be happy about, they feel the insecurity knowing that a time is coming when they're going to get rejected again. They know May and April's coming and they're going to be... Guys, it's okay, man. Book another session, man. We'll talk about it. It's all right. Just be more like Chelsea.
Do you know what, Kwess? One thing I agree with you on what you said, and I can't wait to get I hope one day I can get back to the position with my team, is when you're comfortable not being the best, knowing you're on your road to maybe being it, but knowing you're going to pick up trophies, you're going to have good games. I do think we've lost that in football. And I've said this for a few days running, and I'm going to keep pushing this message. A Newcastle fan who come on the show called Kane, I think he said this probably more accurately than ever before. I think people are scared now online to say what they truly mean. And they project this kind of, I'm a winner. I've got the highest standards in the world. I'm a high value man. Andrew Tate would love me. I only accept the creme de la creme of standards. The maddest part about it is you actually delve into these people's personal lives a little bit. You realize their standards are nonsense. It's a projection. And a lot of people are like, no, I'm only going to be happy when everything is absolute perfection. And LB will know better than any of us on this panel that that's nonsense. Because City fans weren't angry every day of their lives before they got money. There were City fans that were watching League 2 and League 1 football, that fucking loved their football club, were happy with their victories. There are fans that do that. There are fans that support clubs that know they don't have the capabilities of being the very best, but they back their team, they love their players, they sing their songs, they go to games, they watch on TV. You're not, I just want to put this message out there to anybody that says these things. You are not less of a man. You don't have less of football knowledge. You're not more of a winner or more successful as a person because you have higher standards for your football team, because you can't go with that approach in a monolithic way. You can't even go with that approach in life and in business. People do that whole bullshit of pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Yeah, what if you don't have bootstraps? It's like you can't apply the same logic to every person, every football team, every situation. And I agree with you. I do think there is an element now of it. So, for instance, Arsenal fans, all summer, I know this manager's such a prick. I know first game of the season, Kai Havertz is starting. Watch. It doesn't happen. There's no sort of, I'll calm down a little bit then. I'm just going to maintain that frustration. It's like, well, it doesn't make sense. So many things that you moan about don't end up happening anyway. Was it Mark Twain that sort of said that you spend most of your life worrying about things that don't actually happen? And yet there's never any leeway. Man United fans have done it all summer. We're only going to buy kids. We're going to buy Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We're going to buy Vardy. Oh, my God. The amount of meltdowns United fans have had online all year, getting their bum cracks out, showing the world their chocolate starfish, just for none of it, barely any of it's happened. There is an element where I think you've got actually, if you want to look like a real man, maybe stay a little bit more patient, maybe keep a little bit calmer, maybe keep your counsel a little bit more. That might look a little bit better. Because I tell you, there's a lot of people getting their bums out for other geezers online at the minute. It's a little strange, I'm telling you. It's a little strange to me.
Yep.
They moan about things, they don't happen, and they don't go, do you know what? Well done. Like, I saw people moaning, oh, we should have done this different, shouldn't have started Gyökeres. You're the same guys that said, I'm going to kick off and burn the club down if Gyökeres don't start. More odds. All of it is honestly the manosphere thing. Andrew Tate and these guys have ruined a generation. I'm telling you.
The same guys who've been.
They think they've got to say this so they look better online. Or just say how you feel. Just say how you feel for real. Don't project bullshit.
God bless
the
you.
same guys who've been
man.
saying that we should drop down to the Europa League so we can win it are the same ones angry about our performance. You can believe the shit that
people are saying that.
Dude, I mean, you didn't hear that last season? People were saying, literally, this was like trending shit that I have to put up with, saying that Arsenal Football Club are better off not making Champions League and going into Europa League so we could win a trophy. Those same guys are coming on now and saying we had a shit performance.
Am I hearing some Caribbean on Caribbean beef here, Cal? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm hearing here? But on a level, though, on a real level, where I'll defend those sort of the standard guys is what they've said this weekend holds some truth. The performance needs to be much better. This season, you've got to perform better than you did Sunday. I agree with that. The problem that I have is, say you perform well for 3 or 4 games and then have 2 or 3 good performances but don't win. The same people will drop the performance conversation and will go straight back to, but winning is all that matters. That's my issue with it. The message isn't consistent, and it's becoming a little bit boring to hear now. Let's do some super chats here. This one says Eze was only if Ethan left, not General Sale. Reported weeks ago by The Athletic, even while Romano was hyping the deal up. Left wing is Sal related. But who is the left winger going to be? Who do you boys, like LB, who do you think the left winger is going to be? Because it's not good. I can't see it being Rodrygo now. It looks like he's turned City down as well, to be honest with you. So
I don't know who it's going to be. Like, who else is there out there that's like a needle mover? Because Arsenal can't just get like project players or like they need to sign world-class players.
To be honest, I don't even think we need a world-class player on that left-hand side. It's so crap at the moment. We just need someone who can beat a man and cause a bit of chaos. We just need someone with a little bit of something. Like, I have Martinelli on the left, 2025. You do not understand what it's like watching this guy play football every week. You don't get it, dude. He's been dining on a season. No.
I do fully get it.
He has one move.
Who can you get?
One move, dude.
Well, they got Madueke, so it should be all right now, to be fair. Obviously. And I know people think I'm bantering, yeah. I'm being dead serious. Like, he's a decent left winger. He could
I don't even hate Madueke, but it's like my options.
Elby's holding in the laughter so much.
It's just mad, bro. I can't even lie. Now, I see some people in the chat saying Lookman. I watched Lookman quite a few times last year, and I was very, very impressed. Very impressed. He looks like
I'd be happy with Lookman, dude.
And he's had a couple like stints in the Prem that haven't really worked out, so he'll probably come in and like want to prove himself. He's obviously better than the current level that he's at, so that's an interesting one. But in terms of like going getting that big player, like Rodrygo is obviously the dream, isn't it? Rodrygo would be the dream for Arsenal. If they could get Rodrygo on that left-hand side, for me, I think he's the missing part of the jigsaw, man.
Yeah.
You know, there doesn't seem like there's any bids gone in there.
If they pull that off, then, you know, I'll take everything back that I've said today and be like, do you know what? They had a plan all along. They knew what they were doing. They knew they had to wait. There was no issues. It's still an interesting.
to be
Yeah,
honest,
I
I
mean,
don't think they're going to get
I'm
anyone.
sure you would. Glock9 here says, obviously Arsenal are a disgrace and Stoke City in red. I assume the panel expects the rest of the big six to beat United at Old Trafford by several goals.
Dude, I rate
bro.
United. I think Liverpool. I can't wait for Liverpool to go to Old Trafford, bro. When the team's like in gear, I don't. Dude, I can't wait because even when Liverpool were better than their current team, they didn't used to win at Old Trafford. So I'm very curious to see everyone go to OT and see what happens, man. I'm gonna be watching all those games.
Yeah, just a quick part on this. Yeah, is just like it's okay to say it was a great result for Arsenal at Old Trafford, but I still don't think they've got enough to go and win any trophies.
Yeah, that's
to
what
get major.
that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't say any trophies. I think we have a chance in the cups, but I think
Yeah, the major.
yeah.
I'm talking about
Yeah.
the two big ones.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm still not giving us zero chance. It's just a much lower chance, you know.
No, I agree, and obviously, like, Man United also played really well in parts, really well in parts on
Yes.
on Sunday, considering how bad we've been, and I stand on that. And I think that let's wait. This is the thing with first game of the season. I'm not going to do to City what you mentioned earlier, LB, the whole, it's only Wolves. But if Wolves end up getting battered by loads of teams this year and City actually start struggling after 2 or 3 games, we can look back and say anomaly. Equally, if Man United are crap for the next 2 or 3 games, then you can say that was an anomaly performance. But if we go to Fulham and we look as good and win, we play Burnley at home and look really good again and win. We play City, might not win, but, really look competitive, dangerous on the counter. Then people will look back and go, actually, Arsenal, it wasn't as bad as people think. And I do believe there's been too many conclusions made about the entirety. There's indicators in the first games and everything else, but I don't think you can read too much into it. I saw Sunderland.
But it can confirm. It can confirm what you, because my whole thing coming into this season for Arsenal, based on the current signings, right, is that I think their midfield is unbalanced. Yeah, I don't think there's enough creativity in that midfield with Declan Rice, Supermendy, and Odegaard. Yeah, and I don't think they've got enough firepower up top. And I think what you'll end up seeing from Arsenal is a very stable defensive team, but one that sometimes is very huffing and puffing to get across the line in terms of getting winning football matches and getting the ball in the back of the net, right? And then so that's my take before the United game. Yeah, and I said I'm not saying they're going to finish 5th. I'm saying I think they'll finish 3rd. Right? They're still a very good team. So then when I watched the United game, all it did was confirm everything that I believe going into the season. So then that's why I've come to the conclusion with, if they don't make any more signings, I don't think they'll win the Prem. I don't think they will win the Champions League, but I do think they'll have a better chance of winning the Champions League because of how defensively good they are. They're a very solid team. They're probably one of the best defensive teams in Europe right now, to be honest.
Wayne here says one match on the opening day cannot confirm anything. That's nonsense. Is what Wayne thinks.
I agree. We're just talking about what happened, eh?
I do think it's funny though, because I think people say that, but I don't think people necessarily believe that. Like when people talked about City, it was wow, they look crazy. Reinders, wow, next best player, like he's going to be the best signing, whatever. Justified though, I hear it. Yeah, same with Liverpool and Ekitike when he bagged everyone. Wow, Liverpool look crazy. I know it's only match day 1, but wow, even though they struggled against Bournemouth, they just look like they're going to be right up there. So it's like people are definitely picking and choosing which teams they're saying match day 1 counts for and match day 1 doesn't count for. At least I feel like they're doing that. But
I mean, listen, people are allowed to make conclusions. I wouldn't personally do it yet, but equally, I know if Arsenal then look really good the next 4, 5, 6 games, I'm sure LB's mind will start to change because he's not. Because I've worked with LB for 2 years and I know what he's like. Equally, I really want to believe that Man United performance is going to be a benchmark of more to come this summer this season. Because if we play like that every game, by and large, we will win a lot of conversations. Oh, we got some Chelsea breaking news. Some Chelsea and Man United breaking news here. Chelsea are advancing in club-to-club talks for Alejandro Garnacho. Deal underway with Man United. Excellent relationship between United CEO Barada and Chelsea hierarchy. Garnacho only wants Chelsea and has turned down an approach from Bayern Munich in the last 48 hours. No chance of that. Some other reports saying that Chelsea don't want to pay the 50 million, but it then means Garnacho is in debt. It's which way you read that. Chelsea don't want to pay 50 million, but then the next line is the winger is in danger of missing out on the World Cup this year if he doesn't get his move. So it's one of those ones, isn't it? A Man United gonna that's such an interesting update from Fabrizio, because you could read it one or two ways. The Man United fan in me goes, well, we've got a good relationship. The player's at risk of losing his World Cup. Chelsea are telling him, we want you. He only wants them. Well, you pay the going rate then. Or it means we're just going to end up bowing down to what Chelsea are asking for. But it feels like we are moving closer to a here we go.
Garnacho is the missing piece.
Alejandro Garnacho, Chelsea.
Listen, I know I'm going to be the only Chelsea fan here saying this, but we might as well just put hands together and dance together, because I'm as happy as you are. I can't even lie. After watching Gittins, yeah, I know we need help. So I don't even care at this point. At this point, bring in reinforcements. I want Xavi Simons as well, but we need Garnacho tomorrow. Because if Gittins is going to play the next 3 games, we are going to be... I know you're making that face, Carl, because you didn't watch Chelsea. That left
I watched
wing,
the game.
Okay, then you have to understand that Gittins look like he is in the under 15s, bro.
One game, though.
No, I hear you it's one game. I hear you it's one game. But we're not going to... I don't think we're going to have that same sort of issue with Gittins as we're going to have with Garnacho. I don't think it's going to look like he's getting bodied. Okay, see? I know people never want it to land. I'm just saying, I don't think I'm going to see Garnacho getting bodied every time he runs in behind. I don't think I'm going to see that. And Gittins struggled. Anybody that watched that Crystal Palace game knows Gittins had a torrid, like he genuinely looked like he was in a shirt 5 sizes too big. He looked like every time he got the ball, he was like, oh, I don't know, boys, should I do it or not? And then he dribbled back and gave it back. We can't have that. So for me, it's just about reinforcements at this point. 50 mil, I said it the other day, 45 to 50. I don't love it, but I can stomach it. And people saying Garnacho is worse than Madueke, just stop. Just stop. I've been taking painkillers since 2023.
Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do? Or what I will say, I don't want him going to an English club. I think he'll do well. I rate him. He just isn't for what we need anymore for multiple reasons. But just a little screw you to the eye test merchants. Isn't it mad that a player that you've all said is trash? You know, there's barely anyone looking after your eye test baller merchant players. But Garnacho, that you say is dog shit, has got 2 of the biggest clubs in the world wanting him. Right. Objectively speaking, anyone who says he's shit, objectively, you're wrong. Right now, you're wrong. Bayern Munich and Chelsea want him. You can't say, for me, there's an objectivity within this where we can all put our bias aside. Same with Rashford. It's like people are like, Rashford's trash. Barcelona that are amazing right now wanted him. Objectively, you just got to take the L, bruv. You got to take the L on that one. But listen, get it done. Go and get me a Agoumé or someone like that for my midfield. I can be happy enough with it. LB, what are you saying? There's talk here. This could be as high as 50 million, including add-ons for Garnacho. Talk to me, bruv.
Just another terrible signing for Chelsea Football Club. The destruction of a football club that, you know, for a long period of time in this country, you know what I mean, when they got Roman, was an extremely good club, won a lot of trophies, struck fear in the eyes of other clubs around, not just this country, but Europe, has been completely and utterly destroyed by the owners. You know what I mean? Terrible signings. And as I said last week, Chelsea are not in a title race. They will be nowhere near a title. Yeah, they're in a top 4 race. That's where they're at. And yeah, just another incredibly mid signing. It's mad. Again, you know what I mean? The money, it continues to be spent, but I don't see it getting spent on quality. Yeah. And obviously, match day 1, drop points. Chelsea fans going, I can't believe that happened. Oh, really? Some people have been telling you that you're being mad overrated. Yeah. I don't know where people are getting this mad confidence from Chelsea. What, they won a Club World Cup and everyone's like they're going to be a title race. They finished 4th last year, bro. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, they finished 4th last year. Conference League, they left Parma and Caicedo at home for the full group phase of that. Yeah, they were just chilling in London while the other teams. This year they got Champions League, more high intense games. Parma and Caicedo are going to have to play them, and the players that they've signed are not needle movers, man. No one's scared of the players that they've signed, so they'll be finished top 4, top 5. Yeah, I do think they'll get top 5, but there's no way Chelsea will be in a title race. If they finish within 15 points of the title, I'd be stunned. Don't see it. Don't see it at all, man.
LB.
People are overrating him, man. You still got that bozo in goal as well, Sanchez. That I'm hearing some of your fan base even rate the guy. Terrible. It's a madness.
People are trying to do revision history on Sanchez, saying that he's not that bad. I'm like,
it's because they realize they're going to keep him, bro. They're realizing that he's going to be here for another season, man.
Guys, you know, statistically, he's one of the better goalkeepers in the league.
Oh, not you too.
Okay, cool. We don't. I'm just saying, based on stats. Based on stats.
You don't need stats, bro.
Yeah,
you don't need
based
stats.
on stats. You do need stats. You do need stats.
We don't need stats, bro. We don't need stats.
Even when I watched.
Suck your mom. Yeah, I said suck your mom.
That's crazy work. No, listen, hey, I don't hate Sanchez because I just think he's decent. He's not Petr Cech. He's not Courtois. But I also remember. I also remember. Listen, because you lot are not Chelsea fans, yeah. I'm just saying he's definitely not them. But that's the standard of goalkeepers we've had. Yeah, but that's the standard of goalkeepers we've had. But just remember, in 2015, everyone laughed when Courtois got lobbed at the halfway line by Charlie Adam. Nobody remembers that, right? Okay, I remember that, and I remember people being like, "Courtois, he's never gonna make it. Look where he went. What he went to do." Sanchez will probably never do that. But what I'm saying is there are definitely worse keepers in the league. Trust me. Bayende is one of them, boy.
How old was Courtois when you signed him in 2020?
He was like 22. Sanchez is 26.
Right, so Sanchez is 26, and you're comparing him to a young goalkeeper that comes to.
Sorry, don't say young. 22 and 4 years apart.
22 is not for a goalkeeper is very young.
4 years is not crazy in football.
Sanchez has been around football for time, bro.
Bro, 26 is nowhere near goalkeeper's prime.
See, this is what I don't get is, you know for a fact, full well, that Sanchez is ass. Yet you're sitting there trying to justify it. You do know he's ass. Everybody knows he's ass.
I don't.
He's a terrible
I don't believe
goalkeeper. You do believe it. But because you know that he's going to be your goalkeeper, you've got to try and justify it to yourself and justify it to everybody else by going, oh, actually, he's not actually that bad. He's actually pretty good. You know, deep down, Sanchez is absolutely terrible. But because you know he's going to be a goalkeeper, you try to justify it.
Hey, LB, who won the Golden Glove in the Club World Cup, man? I'm just asking, man.
Oh, my days.
Oh, I'm just asking. Dude, I'm just asking. It's
a madness. Yeah? It's a madness.
You compared him to Bayern, yeah, bro.
No, listen.
Are you serious?
I would if there's a clear better option, you 100% replace him. I just think it's
200 football clubs in Europe.
But it is actually really
99% of them will have a better goalkeeper than Sanchez.
Name 3 right now you could replace him with.
Donnarumma, there you go, bang, done.
No, but he's not better with his feet. Donnarumma's not better with his feet.
He's
not. They literally
PSG plays the best football in the world.
Okay, and they conceded 3, and Sanchez didn't.
So why would I replace him with Sanchez in goal from Donnarumma? Just say yes or no.
You just said who'd you replace him with, and I'm telling you that he's not better with his feet, which is a critical part of Chelsea's goalkeeping.
You would rather have Sanchez than Donnarumma.
Would you rather have Donnarumma or Sanchez? Which one would you rather have?
If you're asking me to bring in a keeper that needs to be with his feet, no, because what you lot are doing is a straw man argument. You're taking something.
It's not a straw man argument.
It's one or the other.
It's a simple question.
No, because
Donnarumma's available.
Would you rather have Sanchez or Donnarumma?
No, I wouldn't want Donnarumma. No, I wouldn't. I don't think
he's on the clip channel, man.
I don't believe he's that big of an improvement. I'm looking at, like everybody said last year, look at how many mistakes he made. Yeah, fair. Look, they won the Champions League. I hear it, but in that Club World Cup final, which we can all say, the tired FC Cup.
No one gives a shit.
Okay, fine. You don't care because you don't never won nothing. So of course you don't care. You don't understand that feeling. But what I'm saying to you is,
Did you even watch all the Club World Cup games?
I watched every single one and lost sleep. Don't at me. Listen, we got to that pre-season tournament, call it what you want. Both keepers in goal. Donnarumma conceded 3. Sanchez conceded none and won a Golden Glove. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm not even saying there's not better. But even when we played AC Milan the other day and everyone was begging and shaking bum for Maignan, the goal he conceded was crazy. So I'm talking about.
Did football only start at the Club World Cup?
Hold on, Crystal Palace, that game that we just played, What, apart from the free kick, which everybody also acknowledges, if Guehi doesn't move Caicedo out the way, Sanchez is not unsighted. But I hear you still. Other keepers saved that. Fair enough. What else did he do wrong in that game?
Bro, I'm not saying he's never had a good game. He's obviously had quite a lot of good games. The point is, he's not good enough to be a goalkeeper, bro. What about Kelleher? Why couldn't you go and get Kelleher from Liverpool?
But why? If you said we're only going fourth, why is he not good enough to be fourth?
Because you shouldn't be going fourth. That's the whole reason I'm saying he's part of the problem. He's part of the reason why you're only going to be fourth.
You just said, LB, we're going to be fourth. Yeah, you said there's no way we're going to be in a title race.
I agree.
Yeah,
Now you're saying it's wholly down to Sanchez.
No, did the words come out of my mouth?
No, I'm just asking.
I
I'm just
didn't say
asking. I'm
that.
trying to clarify.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, so sorry, I needed to clarify because I'm like, wait, are we not going to do it because we've got a bad goalie, or are we not going to do it because actually we're missing higher potential players that can actually deliver on a high level consistently in different positions? I hear that, but Sanchez, actually, we were the third best defense in the league. Sanchez got what, 11 clean sheets last season, 10 clean sheets. The highest goalkeeping clean sheets was 13. So I hear that everyone look. I said this the other day. Him and Onana are the top biggest bozos. Yeah, they've got the most unforced errors. Yeah, Sanchez got 5. I hear that, but at the same time, his actual shot stopping ability and save making ability is actually decent. People have just seen the mistakes he made, and that's what's in your brain now. So cool, I hear it, but just have that in mind, that there's also space and room for there to be nuance to this conversation, because everyone says shy, but when you're the 4th, 5th best keeper in the league, bro, and your team is finishing 4th, Nick Pope ain't finishing ahead of you. Only Raya did. Even Edison. I don't even think Edison got more clean sheets last year.
Let me interject for a second. So you think you've got the 4th best goalkeeper in the league?
Statistics, only based on numbers.
Yeah,
Only
okay. Base it on numbers, eye test, performances. This not multiverse, this universe.
Yeah.
Where do you rank him in the Premier League?
Well, Raya's better than him. I would say Edison's better than him.
You'd say.
I would say
Yeah.
Edison's better than him.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
But
okay.
Edison also, based on his distribution, I've never seen a goalkeeper do what Edison does. So that's another reason why. Yeah. What do you call it? Who's Liverpool? Alisson, clear. That's not even a question. Then from there, I'm going, I don't know.
Nick Pope?
I don't know. Like, how many clean sheets did he get
I
last year?
can't actually believe this conversation.
I don't know.
is real.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know who else I would put over him. I'm being serious. Like, I don't know.
What, Sells at Forest?
There's an argument for that, for sure. And if he goes on to do what he did last year,
Emi Martinez?
Nah.
You're turning your nose
Nah.
up at Emi
Nah.
Martinez.
Villa's most important game of the season, he gets red carded. Come on.
Dean Henderson?
Stop. Terry,
What do
What
you
are you
mean,
doing?
stop?
what are you doing? What are you doing? What are
You're
you
saying
doing?
Dean Henderson's a worse goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez?
I'm not saying he's worse, but is he better?
What?
No. Forget the FA Cup final. No, listen. Forget the
This
FA
guy,
Cup
man.
final and forget
guy's a
the Charity
politician.
Shield. Have you ever wanted to ever put Dean Henderson in a top goalie conversation before these finals?
I've not wanted
This
to do
isn't
that
a-
with
this-
Sanchez, though.
This isn't a top goalie composition.
I asked
This
you one
isn't a top
question, you
goalie
answer
competition.
another. Crazy.
Like,
You asked,
this isn't a top
you
goalie
asked me who's
conversation.
better than him. You asked me who's better than him. I'm saying, all right, let's name them. We've got to Dean Henderson. You're bugging if you say Dean Henderson. You're bugging.
So what do
My
you
hair
think?
is
What's stopping you guys from challenging? Well, you think you're challenging, aren't you?
No. I said this all the other day. Like, 4th for us is great. Another year at 4th is great. Champions League football again. You're right up there in the Champions League places. I think 4th is great, to be honest with you. I know a lot of other
What's
Chelsea
stopping
fans
you
feel
from
different.
challenging then?
Oh, we're way off, bro. We need a world-class, like serious, consistent world-class striker for sure. I think
World-class goalkeeper.
it would help.
Yeah.
It would help if you had someone super consistent.
Like Donnarumma.
Nah. I'm not
Is
hearing
like in the
Not
top
hearing
3 goalkeepers in the world.
Nah, not
right
hearing
now.
it. Listen, if Donnarumma improved his feet, I would 100% take him, and that's only just because, like, I know Chelsea went in for him when he was like 21, so I know that he's a keeper. I've seen him be good in terms of shot stopping and saving, yeah. But with his feet, that's what Sanchez in the Chelsea fan. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he's boasted it." Honestly, in terms of play, it's using his feet he gets criticized for the most. And even against Crystal Palace, that was the thing he let us down on the most. He maybe sent balls out to the touch and to the fans like, 3 or 4 times, and he hasn't done that in a long time.
I hear
So
that.
yeah,
Let's do some of these super chats here. This one says, if we're basing this on last season, Sells and Raya with 13, Pickford with 12, Dean Henderson with 11, and Sanchez and Edison on 10 clean sheets.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything, though, does it? Really, it doesn't mean that Sanchez is better than everybody else in.
no,
I
they're
mean-
saying Sanchez is worse. They're saying Sanchez is worse.
Well, yeah, they're basing it on the statistics of clean sheets. Like Pickford. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah, Pickford is a better goalkeeper than Sanchez as well.
I never want Pickford in goal ever. Ever.
Better than
Did you
Sanchez.
watch last night's game?
He's
Do you
better
know
than-
every time Everton got the ball, he sent it straight back to Leeds?
Bro, you're acting like Sanchez is some mad ball player.
No,
Like,
I'm just saying,
he
if we're
ain't
talking
that
about
guy,
better
man.
with their feet, Pickford is not it, bro. No.
Okay. What a load of rubbish. Petrovic literally had better numbers than Sanchez, better pass completion, better save percentage, more total saves and passes. You're so wrong. Lol, is what Tony says.
give me
here.
Petrovic. I'll take Petrovic. I wanted Petrovic to stay. I don't even understand why the club let him go to Strasbourg in the first place. That is insane that they did that. I would have taken Petrovic, but so we actually agree.
To the Chelsea fan, would you have Ramsdale or Raya?
Ramsdale, the guy that was in the interview saying sometimes my ADHD kicks in and I have to turn around and talk to the fans mid-game. Are you crazy?
The pigeons.
Yeah,
Actually, just that interview ruined his career.
Of course it did. Imagine you telling your
that was
employer,
like the
I can't
beginning of the
concentrate.
end.
Yeah, because there's probably things like that all players, because you think about when you're at work or when you've all played football yourselves, we've all stood there and thought about things that have nothing to do with what's going on. Do you know what I mean? You've all sat there and thought, and I bet some of us have thought about some stuff that you'd be so embarrassed to tell anybody at that moment in time. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what those things would be, but I bet we all have. Onana is good with his feet too. Stop, man. I hate that.
This is what I mean, man. Hey,
We found Chelsea's Egal in this guy, is what AMT says here.
I hear you.
I
hear you.
Winter Surfer says, complete liars from Quest. He spelled your name, Quest.
Quest.
Hey, that should be my channel name, Kwess CFC.
Yeah,
Quest.
CFC Quest.
Quest, Kwess. We've only started using wings in the second half and gave Gittins 7 minutes and did pass to him as Chalobah has no left foot. Watch the game properly, Quest.
Okay,
Man, he called it Quest twice.
It's
in that.
crazy. Like the first one hurt, the second one is just a disrespect. I'm joking.
Quest. I have a quest for Quest, right? Watch the games properly moving forward. This here from earlier says, is this Don Skeeto in disguise? One Conference League on Donald Trump's paperweight, and they're back. Give me a break.
Donald Trump's paperweight is peak banter. I love it.
bro.
It is mad. Arsenal fans division is the downfall, aka Yardman versus Robbie. It's a Yardman and Robbie who are friends having a laugh with each other and shouting at each other is not the reason that Arsenal didn't.
Yeah,
didn't play
that's
well
the
in
reason why we
99.
didn't sign Eze, because
Yeah, because the Yardman and Robbie. Just hyperbole and a lack of critical thinking. All that matters is winning. Win at Old Trafford. We look like crap. All we needed a striker. Get a striker. Now we don't have enough. We need Eze. I do hear you. Some people definitely move the goalpost with Arsenal consistently, but
yeah, the thing is, I've heard just quickly, I've heard people tell me and tell other Arsenal fans, or all you said is that you needed a striker. You got your striker. Why are you not complaining? Why are you still complaining? Okay, this is the thing in football. When you don't address problems, more problems stack up. That's what happened with Arsenal Football Club. We needed a striker like 2 years ago. We never got it. And now we have more and more problems in the squad. And now we want to address all of them in this one window. So it's not as simple as get a striker and we win. If you watch Arsenal last season, like we just weren't even creating enough. And the left-hand side was shit.
I hear you.
Like it wasn't just about the striker.
I hear you a lot. Viewers, I want to talk a little bit about Alexander Isak. Boys, I want to speak about him. I want to play a clip first, though, because Newcastle fans have not been coping too well. This is something that's been said today. I want us to take a listen to this.
It really sort of hit me yesterday when we were about to line up. Like, this fucking prick isn't turning up, and and I understand you don't care about the fans, right? Even though they literally worship you, and you were on the fucking bus a couple of fucking weeks ago, celebrating as if you loved us all and telling the cameras whatnot, I love Newcastle, da 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 da. But like the Jota thing, you see the way Mo Salah is deeply affected by losing Jota. This is what teammates can really mean to each other. Do you know what I mean? And like, we've all worked in jobs before, and you have the camaraderie where it's like, you don't want to see your fucking mates struggling without you. And the fact that he's just told that whole bunch of lads who, remember, Dan Burn had to defend the ball in order to get the ball up to Isak. People like Anthony Gordon had to create the goals. Jacob Murphy had to give you the ball in the right place at the right time so that you could become the world's best striker, arguably. And they're just saying, nah, fuck you lot. You might have helped us, but fuck you. Go and fucking struggle away at Villa on your own, because I don't give a shit. That just did something to me in my mind, because I thought, you know what? That's how I know you're a piece of shit human being, you like. It's
That's a bit. That's a bit.
I mean, the Jota thing is what threw me. The element
Yeah,
of,
I like, and I was like, well, okay, why are we mentioning Jota? Like,
Yeah, that's fucking weird. You know, and like sometimes in your head you're gonna say something and you think it's gonna sound mint, and then you say it and you're like, oh shit, that didn't sound mint. That's definitely what he's just done. No, that's definitely what he just done there, man. And yeah, like, bro, I don't know, man. Like, that's he's obviously fuming, innit? And Newcastle fans are fuming, but yeah, that was an L. That was an L, man.
yeah, it's not the only thing like that I've seen. I mean, I know that a lot of Newcastle fans were angry that Ornstein was speaking about the transfer at the Liverpool game. They were basically saying, I wonder if he'll try that on Monday night if he's there with NBC. And you should see the replies. And this isn't like nameless, faceless people. I mean, I clicked on 4 or 5 profiles. Their real names, pictures with them and their kids. People are like, if I see him there, we'll kill him. The club won't allow it. We'll shut all these media outlets down. We'll do this. And I'm sitting there like, this stuff sounds like something out of 1939. And it's a transfer story. I respect what True Geordie has achieved in this industry. And, I know a couple of the guys that are on screen with him. But the whole using Jota in the sense of like, it shows how much teammates care about each other. And it just shows how nasty our guy is, because he has no love for his teammates like Salah has for Jota, because he doesn't want to play with them anymore and he's left them in the lurch. Those two things are just completely uncomparable. It's the biggest false equivalence I've ever heard from a football fan in my life ever. It's this, yes, he's professionally looking to move away. He's not going about it in a way that you like, but let's all not pretend that our club haven't signed people that have done. I remember I know it maybe not as high profile, but I remember Fabian Delph saying, no way I'm leaving Villa. A week later, he's holding the City shirt, right? We've all of our clubs have had and seen similar circumstances, and there's some irony in this. Worcester is joining in the same way. And this is how I know it all stems out of anger, and there's a lot of moral posturing going on, and it's ended up making some Newcastle fans look stupid, because they're all doing this. We don't like what Worcester's doing either. Yes. But when he comes on in his first appearance in your shirt from the bench or starts a game, he is going to get a standing ovation and a rapturous applause. You are going to stop caring instantly about his behavior once he becomes your player. And I'm just at this point now, boys. This whole Isak saga has eroded any last ounce of tolerance I have for people talking about player loyalty, because Worcester's actually on strike because the club made him a promise that they've gone back on. And I hear all this nonsense, get it in writing. And I'm like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because you know what? If any of you go to work today and say, boss, I need 2 weeks Saturday off. I need it to go to my brother's wedding. It's the last minute thing. Can I go? And he says, no problem. 100% you can have it off. You go, cheers, boss. If he then cancels it with no notice and you can't go to your brother's wedding, just because it wasn't done by email doesn't mean you don't have a right to be pissed off and be annoyed at your boss, as an example. And that's all that's going on here. But yeah, I thought that was well below the belt from True Jordan. And look, maybe he didn't mean for it to come across in that way. Maybe, but you just don't bring the death of a football player, as tragic as it was, and the sort of the psychological mental breakdown that some of those players are going through because of it, you don't bring that in to evoke emotions over a player wanting to transfer football clubs. That's fucking crazy to me.
I also feel like some Newcastle fans, not all of them, but some Newcastle fans are a little bit confused as to about like what they actually want here, because I'm seeing a lot of Newcastle fans like say, "Oh, fuck him" and all this kind of shit, but then slag him off for not being available for the Villa game. So it's like, well, hang on a minute. Which one do you want here? Do you want to let him train with the reserves for the next 3 years of his contract? Do you want to punish him for a couple of months on the bench? Do you want to sell him and get rid of him for 120? Do you want to hold it like? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's obviously a very tricky time for Newcastle because this is not ideal for them. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like the club has to just decide what they want here, and I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. It's a bit of a tricky one. I can't lie.
Dude, if when Liverpool pulls this off, this will be one of the most ruthless takedowns I've ever seen.
By the way, how amazing is the atmosphere going to be Monday night, though?
Oh I can't wait for that game.
This is
I
bad,
actually can't.
bro.
Yeah,
This is bad. This is like, this is like when you're in school, yeah, and you try to chat to this one girl. Maybe you thought you was doing a good job and you're in the DMs or whatever. Then out of the blue, she just actually likes somebody else. And you start getting mad. And then you see the one guy getting mad over it and he starts trying to like, be like, oh, but I never wanted her anyway. But even still, she should come back and say sorry to me, girl. She shouldn't do it. It's like, whoa. Okay. Because I get what's happening to Newcastle fans right now. Like they're in their era where Liverpool were in like 2010, 9-ish. Remember when Torres left and people were burning shirts? This is Newcastle's time. Like they're at this point where it's a precipice. Like they could go on to be really, really problematic in the league, or they could fade back into mediocrity. And they've seen and been through pain. They don't want to go backwards. But the problem is now it's like the person that they thought was the peggiest, they love him the most. He's like, yo, it was never us. It was just your turn. Do you get
you know
it?
what? Do you know what as well, right? More money, more problems as well. And that doesn't work in every aspect of life, but I think it does in football, because what Newcastle fans are going through, and I was very supportive of Newcastle when they got the Saudi takeover. I gained a lot of Newcastle followers, especially on Twitter. I called a lot of things out. I didn't like the way they were being attacked for doing it. Main reason being there's so many companies and products I use that are also invested into by PIF and by the Saudis that it just becomes hypocritical to say football clubs shouldn't have it. But yeah, I'll drink Starbucks. I'll go on aeroplanes because they basically own Bowen. They own so many different buildings that we all use in London. They own loads. They own loads of things. We all still use it. We all still consume it. When we don't, a lot of the time we don't need to either. It's still a personal choice. So I always find it very hypocritical. You know, it's like being a butcher, but preaching veganism. I just don't like that type of behavior. I think it's cowardly. So I didn't do it. I said, well done. I was happy for Newcastle because it was they had a terrible owner in Mike Ashley that was pillaging that football club. It was destroying that wonderful football club. But something I noticed really early on is that Newcastle fans, especially the younger ones, the older ones aren't as bad. The younger ones, though, I'd say late 20s and below, they just don't remember being good. They just don't remember being a team that challenged in the 90s, challenged Man United. They don't remember that when they were winning the trophies in the 50s. They can't do. They weren't born. They were still in the nutsack. And I noticed this was a regular occurrence from so many. And I think City fans may have gone through this, but social media wasn't as prevalent in the first 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of their takeover, maybe a little bit earlier than that. So you get a bit of time to wane into it. But Newcastle's kind of rebirth as a club happened in the peak of the social media era. What they suddenly hated was fans of other people's clubs having so many opinions about their football club. The irony in it, I would say I've been blocked by about 30 or 40 Newcastle fans who didn't like when I'd say that's a bad signing, or they were poor today. My club, focus on your own. Duh. I'd often scroll through their tweets. The amount of times they're tweeting about all of our clubs. Unbelievable. There's a Newcastle fan who used to come on the terrace. Really, really nice person. Get on with him well. It literally doesn't come on anymore because I'm sick and tired of your panelists, Terry, talking about my club. I'd say if you go through his tweets, 80% of them are about Man United, about Arsenal, and about Chelsea. And that's the bit for me. They are just not used to being a giant club, a club that everybody's focused on. They're also not used to what we've all been throughout most of our lives. where everyone wants your best players. And you just got to handle the media stories. You just got to handle the fact that players' heads get turned. At the end of the day, having players when you're a big club, it's a little bit like Love Island, right? You just know there's other people consistently after the person you're paired with, and they could leave at any point. This is it. And yes, people go, oh, there's contracts, Terry. Well, what about players like Andy Carroll at Newcastle? He said on the show the other day, I don't know if you see it. He said, I never wanted to leave when they sold me. I didn't want to go to Liverpool. All I wanted to do was be a Newcastle player. So through the history of our clubs sell players that want to stay. We get rid of players. We cancel contracts with players we don't want. And none of us give a shit if it betters our team. But yet when a player wants to do it, we suddenly, my mind started changing actually when Liverpool and City went through this with Raheem Sterling. And I backed City and I backed Raheem Sterling 100% back then. So I went, no, Liverpool went on to do very well. But the idea that he was going purely for money with what City were building and what City achieved was just one of the worst media narratives I've ever seen created about a footballer, to a point where Raheem Sterling is still booed and hated now. A big percentage of that is because of the lies told that he only went to City for money and it wasn't about achieving anything in football. And I just don't like it. I think it is disgusting. And I think football fans, I know we're emotional, but I think we should do better. And in fairness to Man City, they're probably the best in the league and their fans are very good because I think you follow suit of your owners and your manager. If a player wants to leave your club, you just let them go. You go, okay, cheers, mate.
If they bring the fee, yeah.
For the fee, you let them go. And also, by the way, Newcastle, let's not pretend like you haven't been offered a record transfer fee for the player. It isn't like they bowled up and went, there's 70 million. They actually verbally offered you 120 and you said, no, we're going to get your player Ekatike. Like, you could have entered the negotiation sooner. This has all gone wrong for Newcastle because they failed to sign their targets. Isak's got pissed off. Yes, he hasn't acted 100% professionally. I agree with that. But there's a lot of projections going on here, man. But keep Jota's name out your mouths, because for me, that's just ridiculous in my personal opinion.
Yeah, man. I agree.
This year, let's see what happens in the next few days. But this says, I understand True Geordie, maybe he worded it wrong because I don't want to see Sancho back and won't be clapping him back at Old Trafford.
Different though, man. It's
different.
Different. Of course, you don't. Of course, like Madueke going to Arsenal, like I loved him as a Chelsea player, even though he frustrated me. But if I see him at Arsenal, I'm not going to clap him. But what I'm not going to say is, if he gets injured, blah blah, and all this other stuff.
He also said that, like, if he gets a career-ending injury, I won't feel any sympathy for him. But it's also this: I don't like professionally what Sancho's doing. On a personal level, I have no bad feeling towards him because it isn't personal. He's doing what's right. He thinks is right for his professional career. But I'm not going to sit there and try and make him feel. I'm not going to try and emotionally blackmail Sancho. Imagine this. Imagine Man United go up to him today and do what True Geordie did and say, Sancho, you fucking hate all that. You don't like those players in that dressing room, do you? Why are you saying that, Sir Jim? You can't. Look how Mo Salah cries over the death of his teammate. You don't even want to help them out by us letting us sell you so we can give them extra players so they can have a better season. That's essentially what True Geordie has said.
Yeah,
you just can't, it's ridiculous. It's an absolute. It's like you wanting to leave a job, right? And you're just trying to leave a job. And imagine being guilt tripped because a member of the staff passed away a few years ago. Well, remember when Timmy passed on, left us short? You're leaving us short like he did. No, you're not. It's very different. Yeah. It's weird,
but
man.
It's Timmy weird. from another company. It's not even the same company.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, down the road, they lost a member of staff recently. All the staff are struggling. Yeah, but he passed on. Same as you leaving. Fuck off. I can't. Listen, I can't. Newcastle versus Liverpool. Winner gets Isak. Let's go. Was it Creed 2 or Creed 3? I think it was Creed 2, where the first fight's against I can't remember the Xboxer's name, Wheeler, I think. And they fight. Because in Creed 1, he gets beat in a sparring match and loses his Mustang. And then they're fighting for the world title in Creed 2, and he wins the fight, but he gets his Mustang back. Maybe a little bit of that. Do a little side bet. Do it this way. If Liverpool win, they get him for 120. If Newcastle win, it's 140. Like, do a little bet like that. That'd be amazing. It wouldn't happen, but it'd be amazing just to play for that. This is why I have hate for our owners. That is I don't know what that.
What is this one?
KRK. Yeah, no, I think that's Arsenal. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
Cronky, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah, right. I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now.
I mean,
I get it now.
They ain't leaving. They came out that like they have the most profitable sporting empire in the world. It's not happening.
No, I know that. Guys, what do you make of Man United potentially going for Agoumé?
Let me just say, I've not watched him enough to know. So I think if you're not gonna get Belieber, you have to get somebody. So if he's gonna bolster what you've got right now, then get him in. Yeah, but obviously people will laugh at me already because I already said about Garnacho. But I just think sometimes you got to get bodies in. You got to get bodies in the door because you need help. You need help. Like when the season really starts kicking in, you're gonna need players that have quality that can, as you say, sometimes even just give the other players a little bit of respite. Do you know what I mean? So if he can come in and do that, then fair. But yeah, I mean, where, yeah, you just gotta do it. You just gotta do it.
But I'd be gutted if I was United not getting Belieber, man. You know how long I've banged on about him, Terry, at United.
No.
When you was linked with him last week, we did the show. I was obviously gutted because I was like, yeah, Belieber for me. I'm absolutely convinced Belieber is like he's the biggest material sort of like improvement you could make to your team. Like, you know what I mean, by getting him. Like he would just boss it. Because I actually thought Casemiro actually played quite well against Arsenal. I've got to give the guy credit considering like how old he is in that Premier League game. But he's going to be dropping a lot of stinkers this year just because he's not got the legs anymore. Yeah, I mean, he'll get through some games like he did about Arsenal because he'll be able to position himself in the right sort of situation. But it was also a very dull game. In a bit more of an exciting match where it's a bit quicker and a bit more end to end rather than more like that Arsenal game was a bit like a chess game. In more like exciting games, he's going to end up getting cut because of his lack of like movement and that. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. If it was me, I'd just go to Brighton and just pay whatever they ask, man.
Well, what's been reported? I mean, there have been some reports that I think they've been a little bit misconstrued with the way some people have interpreted them versus me. United thought a really good deal could be done because of the way João Pedro was done. And it's a bit interesting that João Pedro, who is a very good striker, is valued by Brighton at almost half the amount they value their midfielders at. But I suppose it's the finite commodity. But Agoumé, when you actually look at his numbers, barring carrying the ball, everything else, and this is in La Liga as well, so it isn't like a lower level league. Everything else in terms of pass distribution, pass completion, key passes, progressive passes, duels won, possession won, is all in his favor. And I'm a bit like you, Kwess. I haven't seen enough of him play personally to sit there and go, I can look at the numbers. I can watch some footage of him. They are talking about available for 25 million. And if we truly can't get Belieber, I know that's been the word of the summer, but I think that represents to me a market opportunity where you say 25, 30 million, it isn't that big a risk where even if he comes in and isn't good enough, you could probably sell him on in a year or two and at least get your money back or even a profit if he does okay. You might then move on to Belieber anyway. But it's that, watching us at the weekend against Arsenal, I was so impressed with so many parts. But there were times in the second half where we couldn't play the long ball in because Arsenal sat deeper, but it left space in the middle. And neither Bruno or Cass had the speed and agility to burst through his runs. And I just looked at it and thought, we saw Cunha do it a couple of times and Arsenal couldn't cope with it. Have a couple more players in your midfield and in your team that can run at teams like that. We saw Morgan Rogers do it last year so many times for Aston Villa. We see Declan Rice do it. KDB is probably one of his most underrated attributes in his pomp, where he could pick that ball up and it was skillful, but it was just brute force and speed to drive through a team.
Yeah, we did that to us every goddamn time we played against him, man.
We need that in this squad. I'd love that in this squad. And a lot of people that watch Agoumé say he's capable of it. It's just hard for me to give an opinion because I just haven't watched enough of him play.
Can't Mainu do that though?
My question, what I've seen of him.
Do you know what? Mainu for me, I think he can carry the ball. I think he can do things, but he isn't a power runner. He is a little bit more like you get some players, if you look at like skiing, some people can speed ski and then some people it's more slalom. So for me, you put him in your half of the pitch and he's got a couple players around him. He can jink his way through them very, very well. Can he pick the ball up in the sort of your third of the pitch and then drive that ball towards the other penalty box consistently, I don't know. And I know he's getting dropped a lot, and people are like, oh, I think this means the manager don't rate him. The manager spoke about something that obviously gets ignored by his haters and ignored by rivals or not seen because it doesn't fit the narrative. But he said in an interview yesterday, well, I think the interview happened Sunday, but it got released yesterday, that when he picks his starting lineup, he picks it based on who he thinks can truly complete 90 minutes and maintain their stamina. So people say, oh, why didn't the Šeško start? Because he doesn't think Šeško can last the 90 minutes. That's my biggest fear right now over Mainoo. I rate Mainoo's technical ability so high. I love the way he plays. I do worry about his ability to start a game and play a full 90 minutes and still have the physical capabilities of having an impact late on in the game. By the way, we need someone that can actually do that twice a week. Because if we ever want to get back to the levels where we want to be, you've got to have the stamina to do it twice a week. And I think sometimes as football fans, I know certain people don't like blood, sweat and tears, passion, desire. That's part of the game. Everyone loves talking about the technical side. That's my fear. Because I don't think Amorim is looking at Mainoo and going, you don't have the technical ability to play the football I need. Yeah. I can't imagine that he sees their other midfield players and says, you're not as good as them on the ball. Maybe it's the fact that he doesn't think his body can do the job that he needs it to. And that's a fear for me because I just rate Mainoo so highly as a football player. That reading that interview last night, that's my fear in this. And maybe it's easier once we have someone else that can do the running, because if Mainoo's in the midfield, he's going to have to be, he can't be the Casemiro replacement. He can't be the Ugarte replacement. He has to go in for Bruno. And Bruno, he ain't quick, but he can run all day game. He can press all game. He can, and I just think if you're trying to build a team that one day is going to win the Premier League, you can't have a player that gets to 65, 70 minutes and they're blowing out their ass. And he
needs to play in a three. He needs to play in a three.
Yeah.
That's what he does. And when as soon as you got this manager, Terry, I was telling you, I was saying, Mainoo is finished at Man United, man, because he will not be able to work in that system because you need a runner. The whole reason I said United need to go get Baleba for the last 7 months is because you need somebody who can run up and down that pitch, side to side, and just dominate that midfield. Well, Mainoo can't do that. So could he play next to Mainoo? Yeah. But could he play next to a Casemiro? No, he couldn't, because then neither of them offer what you need. So unless you go and get a destroyer like a Baleba, I think Kobbie Mainoo's future lies outside of Man United. And I said that as soon as you got the manager. It's absolutely no surprise to me, because you've got to understand the guy's system. You've got to understand what do you require from the midfield in that system.
No,
and you need legs, which is why I've said, when people say to me, who would you rather have at City, Baleba or Wharton? Wharton all day long, because we play with a three. I don't need a midfielder to be running around the gaff like a Baleba. But if I was a United fan, I'd be wanting Baleba at United, not Wharton, because I need someone to run and run and run.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not convinced he's done, but I do think there's that. I don't think he wants to say it either. When I hear people that like Mainoo and detractors of Amorim say he just doesn't know ball because he's been picking him, I don't think it's about the football. I just don't think it's the technical side, because you don't have to like Amorim. He ain't stupid. And this is Mainoo being a casualty is painful for me, because I love this kid when he comes through. He's from the academy. It's part of what we are. At the same time, we have decided to go down a certain direction with how we're going to play football and the profiles we need. And there's always casualties when you do this. There's always going to be people. And I hope that Mainoo wouldn't be one. But I've just got this horrible gut feeling that he is. Now, I hope that doesn't happen. I want this kid to be part of our future. I want him to grow old here. I want him to be, I want him to go and I'd love him to have a career for United like Paul Scholes did. I really, really would. I just don't know if he's going to be able to, because it was very interesting to me that he didn't come on at the weekend. Very interesting that he didn't come
I thought
on.
you'd be building the team around Mainoo, to be honest with you. I feel like when he first burst onto the scene, I was like thinking he was going to be world-class potential. I still think he has that in him. I think it'd be a mistake. I think a top manager will find a way to get it to work somehow, even if it means, subbing him on subbing him on so he's not playing with Casemiro. I think it'd be a big mistake to just let him go. I think he's too talented. I rate Mainu a lot.
I agree with it being a mistake to the extent of like Garnacho. I actually rate Garnacho. I think he's a real talented player in there, but he isn't going to work with how we're trying to play. So I look at things through two different lenses. I rate Mainu. I don't want to see him leave, but if he isn't the right, if he doesn't have the physicality to do what we need our midfielders to do in the long, so a lot of people look at if we say we sold him and we went and bought somebody else with him. I can't believe we're selling him before getting rid of Ugarte and Cass. Our manager and our owners don't know ball. And I think that's too superficial. I think that's too basic a level to look at. I think they would look at it and say, well, there's no money in selling Ugarte or Casemiro to reinvest. If you look at him and you don't think he's the right profile for what you're building, it's a case of you need to sell him because he'll make you a profit and invest in midfielders that do make the system come alive a little bit more. It's just a little bit of a, you've got, sometimes you put 2 and 2 together and get 37. Sometimes you look at this and go, well, he rarely picks him when we think he's going to. He doesn't come off the bench enough. He keeps talking about not picking players that don't have the physicality. And you sit there and you start adding it all together and you just go, well, I think I'm getting 4 here. I'm worried about it because he'll go on elsewhere to be really, really good. That being said, if he can't do what we need him to do, then, and I'll get the argument. Some will say, well, he'll do a better job than Bruno does in there. I'm like, yeah, that actually holds some water. He might do a better job. But if it isn't perfect still, we still need to move on from him. Because at the end of the day, we've gone for a certain way of playing football now. What I don't want to see the club do is what Rashford called out the other day. Don't start going in one direction for a year, 18 months, and then go back in the other direction. And if you do that, we are never going to move forward. And I hate the fact Gary Neville shut that conversation down last night. It was the first time. I get his point. Rashford was there and he could have Rashford couldn't do nothing to help that. The players don't decide what fucking way your club plays football. The way Gary Neville shut that down, I need to punch my TV. Because it would, for me, it's one of the biggest contributing factors to why we are where we are as a club. That the overspending and the lack of discipline at the club is a big part. But the other area that I've never heard spoken about in the mainstream once is the constant changing of directions, no fixed way of playing. We never recruit him right because let's just say we get rid of him, we're gonna build a 3 now because we've got a new manager and Cobby's part of that. And then you spend 18 months building a team that does that. He gets sacked. We're going for another manager, but he wants the same that Ruben did now, and he wants absolute pure stamina and speed and power in the middle. Suddenly your new front 3 you spent £200 million on, and Kobbie Mainoo's there with don't fit it anymore. So you look lopsided for 18 months. You lose half of them. You buy new players. Then you go, fuck it. We're sacking him. We're going in this direction. You're always going to fail. And the fact Gary Neville shut that down last night, I was so angry. It was like, no, that's an actual conversation about the club that we have to have. He went, no, don't want to talk about it. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why? Why would you not want to discuss one of the biggest? And that's why our fans, when we argue online, I often hear us arguing about things that are just, as I said, superficial, surface level nonsense. Because every time on TV, there's a chance to get into one of the real root cause problems at the club. The media seems to want to shut it down, especially Gary Neville. It's honestly, it's terrible for me, but we'll see what happens midfield wise. This is what we do this year. It says, which game was your favorite in the last EPL season? Beating City away. Very easy for me.
I actually don't even know.
Probably just beating City as well, to be honest. Beating City was like the only thing that we did last season in the league.
Ours was the Liverpool one, man.
Oh yeah, the Maz Lewis Skelly celebration was mint.
Oh,
yeah, that was good. That felt good.
Yeah, Chelsea was beating Liverpool, man. Back end of the season, needed to get the win. I know they were on a jolly up, but if we didn't get that job done, it would have been peak for us. So
mine would have been the Lyon last minute winner by Maguire, but because we didn't go on to win it,
dude, that was one of the craziest games.
It's not as memorable now because we didn't go on to win it. So I'd go with the City one, which again was the last kick. That was I watched that game back the other day just because I don't know why I was up and it came on my YouTube feed on TV and I put it on. I still can't believe that the shot went in from Ahmad because I really thought it was going to be cleared and my man went for a back heel and missed it and it went in. And I remember watching it, and as he goes to back heel it off the line, I remember watching it. I went, I thought he was going to, and then he missed it, and I was like, so he was like, I thought we were going to score. Then I was like, no, he ain't, and then we did. That was amazing. But that was one of the only major shining lights on a very, very dark season.
I think that Lyon game was the best, probably one of. Was that the best game of the entire season? Like all of last season, Manchester United versus that dude. That was nuts. That was crazy.
I think for last minute drama,
Yeah,
hate watches gone wrong. United fans jubilant. I think for everything you could make that argument. Obviously, there's like Palace will say the FA Cup final, like we'll not compare, which I totally get. That was an amazing game. But yeah, that has got to be up there with one of the best games of the season. I also think, what game was it I really liked? I think the Champions League games between PSG and Liverpool and PSG and Villa were amazing as well, actually, last year. I thought they were really good, high-scoring games. Morton here says, what about Gordon? He forced through a transfer to Newcastle and they should probably refuse to... but this is it. Yeah, he forced a move through and he was used by Trudeau in that example of you should respect someone like Gordon who used to set you up. What, Gordon who forced the move out of Everton to your club, leaving a squad behind. That's why I say it's like a butcher preaching about veganism and then finishing that lecture and then going and slaughtering a pig and chopping him up for dinner. Like, at the end of the day, no football fan has got a leg to stand on. It's just crazy for me. But there we go. Listen, I want to thank everyone who's tuned into the show today. An absolute pleasure. I've absolutely enjoyed it. It's been a laugh. Back later tonight with the phone-in show for you all. This is going to redirect you somewhere. I don't know where, but it's redirecting you somewhere to Footy Judge Mo's channel. He's going to be going live soon. So go and support my bro over there. But LB, Cal, Kwess, thank you all for coming on. Thank you to my super chatters. Thank you to everyone who's hit the like button on the show. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Peace.